Hi, this is Shelly, Jared, and Chris's multimedia project, and we believe that the writers of The Wire use mise-en-scene in Season 4 to depict the level of comfort with each character in a city deemed inescapable. The writers of The Wire tap into foreshadowing even before the first scene of the season to establish power and authority which prevents the means of escape. Mise-en-scene captures the imprisonment of young and old in West Baltimore with images symbolizing power, authority, and lack of control. Framing the power pole as the first image, viewers are able to recognize through the hazy darkness the initiate sense of power. As two men close a garage, their identities are unknown. All that is visible to the audience is the fence behind them, demonstrating how, although they can close up the place they call home, a fence still surrounds them inside the reality of the city life. The mirror reflecting the students walking into school serves as the eye that watches them for the longest period of time throughout the day, cutting to quick frames of African murals, hands crumpling recycled money, and the city life they cannot escape. Stop for Children signs hang on the ice cream truck behind the children as the city's public advertising, paired with street crossing signs with red hands, are commonly recognized as a warning to the current situation they face. Mise-en-scene captures not only the watchful eye over the city to create a sense of fear, but even more symbols of power of imprisonment, such as the nail gun boarding in another dead body. The system at hand is all one prison spinning round and round, continuing to the same points as reflected by the circle turntable in the small market, the playground roundabout, and underscored by the small boy playing with the tire in the street. Writers include the alleyway frame with high walls on both sides with an empty suitcase to show and reiterate no matter how far you travel, you won't make it far, leaving you empty-handed and without hope to continue on.
The establishing shot of the scene which shows Bubbles and Sherrod's home is very important. A power line pole is seen behind a fence in the foreground, with nothing else in the frame. As the camera pans right and down towards the door, you still cannot tell what is being shown besides a dark wall completely surrounded by a fence. This emphasis on setting symbolizes the fact that Bubbles and Sherrod are trapped in their place in society. When Sherrod arrives at the entrance, his body language also shows his feeling of disappointment towards the fact that he lives in the shack. Upon entering, the setting inside the building is shown hectic and unorganized, which perpetuates Bubbles' role as a dirty drug addict. Tall steel bars surround the young kids as they have what is considered an innocent conversation, as words are blocked amongst each other at night. Boarded-up windows are visible like a game of Jenga with high stakes in a drug game surrounding the next generation in the dark meeting grounds seen through the tall, limitless fence that encloses them. Symbols of entrapment are present in almost every frame, reiterating the constant trap sense each character possesses. A fence they cannot climb over, windows that they cannot see in. As the boys rock in wooden chairs, yet another sign of tradition in the old age of the neighborhood and city situation. Donut sits playing with a boy much younger than him, in a card game which personifies tradition. The many symbols of tradition and power surround them, although one glimpse of light hovers above the small group. Dookie and Naman both sit with hands in religious positions, illuminated by this small light, and are used to demonstrate the sheer glimmer of hope that remains above, unreachable in a vast, inescapable life. This scene begins with a boy and a girl in street clothes throwing a police badge at a concrete building. The directors use this to portray the citizens' hatred of the authority in society and their wish to be free from it. As an old beat-up van rolls up to where they are, another boy and girl pretend to be looking for rocks to throw at the building. In the background, the directors cast an old worn-down building to show the poor nature of the city. Two men get out of the car and walk up to the four kids that are now visible on the screen. In the background, apartment buildings are shown with telephone lines running through the background. The ground is a mixture of grass and rocks, emphasizing the lower class of this part of the city. Cuddy and the man with the clipboard are symbolic of a higher authority trying to control the children and put them where they're supposed to be. This authority is further emphasized by his crossed arms in a position of power, while the kids' body language is very disappointing as they are submitting to his power.
Sitting in a deserted park conducting a meeting, Marlowe is protected by his lookouts in a peculiar location. He is in no hurry to escape. Used with the comfort of his camouflage print jacket, hidden from the authorities and without a single twitch or shift of an eye. He displays his comfort in the inner city life without thoughts of leaving the element he calls home. The location of the park itself serves to show that he has driven out the youth and taken over their life, once made of fun and games, into a concreted, controlled area of drugs and money. Maintenance has been avoided in this desolate real estate, showing a level of comfort as solid, powerful concrete blocks the entry of vegetation and life to the top level of the drug scheme. Time is money in The Wire, and in a scene recorded in broad daylight, corner-leashed apprentices work diligently to gain respect. Dead trees lay around him as he remains sitting casually without any competitors in a place he calls home, but the leafy trees surrounding him on his rooftop go to show that there is in fact a competition rising beneath him.
This scene is the opening scene for the episode Homerooms, and mise-en-scene is used to emphasize Omar's role in society. The scene begins with Omar and his lover in bed, and the costumes, or lack thereof, have much explicit meaning. Omar walks around comfortably with no clothes on before putting on a loose robe, which shows him in his element even though he is in a run-down, boarded-up building. Another important aspect of the setting is that it is above ground, looking down on everyone, which shows his power in spite of where he is hiding. Omar struggles to find a spot for his gun and his robe, which shows that Omar is constantly perpetuating his role as a criminal by carrying a gun with any article of clothing. The shot of Omar peering out of his boarded-up door is also significant. The frame is from a far distance, showing overgrown bushes, boarded-up windows, and graffiti. Most people would not hang out there, however this is Omar's home, and mise-en-scene is used to illustrate the poor condition of his home that he is perfectly comfortable with. In conclusion, the creators of The Wire use mise-en-scene to perpetuate and establish characters' roles in a city deemed inescapable. I would like to thank everyone that's contributed to this project, and Mr. Zachary Hickman for having a great semester. Thank you.